taking running water to the people who need it most. This is just one of the jobs of the many people driving the Millennium Development Goals across Nigeria. Issa Ari is in charge of MDGs in the Federal Capital Territory. On a cloudy Tuesday evening, he makes a return visit to the village of Baruwa Goza in Abuja to check how the water is flowing.
9% of the citizens, residents of FCT, that have opportunity to have tap water, and only about 15% had the opportunity to use borehole and well. 53% use the river, and that about 3% have the opportunity of having water sold to them by tankers. And it does mean that water availability was damn a problem.
This was the moment when the people of Baruwa Goza saw water running from a tap in their backyard for the first time. No longer would the people here have to walk long distances for water. There were many takers.
We thank God for the water we now have. It's been a long time we have been going to a faraway stream to get water. Now we have it close to us and very clean.
The flow of water was made possible by a solar-powered borehole, the harnessing of the natural power of the sun to overcome a scarcity of electricity.
When the MDG came in 2007, the intervention was to serve at least 67 communities with community water scheme, as you can see. And these communities have a population of an average of 5,000. Today, these 67 communities are served with water, clean water, using the solar panel boreholes, which is cheap to us, which is easier to maintain. And the communities have come to accept the project. You can see for yourself the number of people coming out to have this water. Immediately it is said, at least we have reduced health hazards in these 67 communities with waterborne diseases, associated with waterborne diseases. We are beginning to realize the importance of using water, clean water, for the children, for cooking, and for drinking. By the end of 2009, we would have reduced the water problem in communities by half. 60% of the communities in FCT would have had the opportunity of having water from at least the community water scheme that we are giving. And then the scheme is it's an interesting scheme. They don't have to be populated in one place to take the water. We have reticulations into 10, 14 places in the community within the radius of 1,000 meters. So at each spot, as you are seeing now, 3, 4 different spots can be located where people are taking water. And this has quite improved the community sanitation.
Water for this village may be a tiny step on the way to Millennium Development Goals, but it is an important one. There is a growing belief around the world that a lot is at stake for developing nations.
MDGs would create the necessary ground for economic growth, and if that is not done, then it means that it will be really disastrous for African countries in particular, because we're talking of government having to spend more, particularly in the public sector, but we're talking of building private partnership with government. So what will happen is that there will really be some sort of a meltdown here now of all aspects of the economic life. So I think it is important that a lot of focus is still there. We're talking of countries working on stimulus packages, bailouts, and a call has been made that part of this should go into development. And it means also countries mobilizing internal resources as well to work together with what will have been gotten from outside. So that is important. If that is not done, I'm afraid the gains that Africa has recorded in the last 10 years will just disappear.
We must take responsibility for meeting those goals, whether or not we get help from the outside. Of course, such assistance would be fully appreciated, and it would substantially reduce the financing challenges, especially at a time that commodity prices have fallen and countries experiencing dramatic increase in population like Nigeria's have this funding challenge even becoming more acute.
We've helped with semi-urban water supply schemes. In most cases, it's been about the boreholes in rural communities, either solar-powered or motorized boreholes. On the partnership goal, we haven't left that behind. We still continue to urge our partners to try to look at the financing gap, which is part of the global commitment to the MDGs. But I think what has been more important has been the partnership in country between the three tiers of government to see how we can put our resources behind one another to attain them.
In charge of it all is Amina Ibrahim, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Millennium Development Goals. Her rise to the job tells a remarkable story. Born in Gombe, she left school at 16 and went to work as an office manager for a German company. 11 years later, she moved into the world of non-governmental organizations. She caught the eye of international organizations and was invited to be on the technical committee of the Global Millennium Development Goals run by the United Nations. In those years, she helped to craft the project. Now she is back home in Nigeria with a determination to make it work.
We know that for the last year or so, we've been talking about the global financial crisis. And certainly that is going to affect and has started to affect Nigeria. So there will be competing demands against what we do with our economy and infrastructure, which is, really the center point of this administration's policy. But we have to look at the social side of it as well. People still need medical care. They still need to go to school. They still need access to potable water. The challenges of trying to get the MDGs at the local level for a while have been about governance and accountability. Resources that should have otherwise been channeled at the local level haven't been. And that's for a number of reasons. It's not always just about corruption. It is also about the capacity to spend that money well. And that our systems over the years have been sort of decaying. So institutions and primary healthcare systems have not worked as well as they should. And that, I think, has provided all the ministries and local governments a huge challenge. What we're trying to do is to address that. And you will see that when we first came to spend the debt relief, we said that we wanted to reinforce not just public expenditure reform, which puts governance and accountability at the center, but also public sector reform. So whilst you're looking at how the money is being spent, you also want to look at the capacity to spend it, to plan for it, to make sure that our budgets, in fact, reflect what can actually happen on the ground. And these are some of the very major challenges we have. The response to the MDGs by Nigeria has been ongoing since 2000 at different levels. But the real surge towards seeing what we can do in real terms and measuring it came in 2005 when we got the debt relief. And from there we were very specific about adding on the debt relief to what was already being spent. And we've done that in a few sectors through the ministries that address health, education, water, agriculture. At one stage we even addressed roads and power. So we've seen for us an increase in that kind of expenditure to fill the gaps. We have also seen that what we've done with the MDGs is to spend with the states to find ways, innovative ways of increasing the way they spend. I think it's important to realize here that the MDGs themselves will be reached at the local and state level. And so what we do at the federal level is really fill in the gap, try to augment it, to scale up, to go where we need to be by 2015.